As we're already loading into game. Here we go. To the bottom right-hand side. Our blue Zerg player, who was just a little bit late here today, but has made it here in the end. Representing Chivo Esports, we do have soO. Up against the red Zerg. In the top left-hand side from Triumphant Song Gaming, it's soO. Whoa, my game is laggy. Let me close a couple things. That's probably my Twitter acting up more than anything else. Ay. Alright, so just a couple of moments here, guys. As you get set up into this ZvZ, already soO is being rather aggressive with the 12 pool, so soO not wasting any time at all. Just going straight into this. And getting this set to go. So he really isn't messing around here, guys. Just looking to get straight across the map with some aggression. Now, it is going to be the hatchery to follow up, so he's not going to go for anything super crazy like the drone pull, but definitely a lot of potential here to deal damage in the early stages. So yeah, soO responds, of course. soO is going to see this right now with his Overlord that is chilling out overhead, so already sees these Zerglings running up towards the upper left-hand side. Is the microphone crackling? Oh, let me listen to this for a second. Bracket set up for you guys. Oh, it's doing this again. Has it just accidentally been... You know what? I think I've just accidentally put the microphone volume up a little bit more than it should be. So I think that's actually probably going to fix it. It's kind of weird. Sorry, I know it's a bit of a strange scenario. I think that should fix it a little bit, though. Maybe even can go down a little bit further. I think the microphone volume, for some reason, it just keeps getting reset a little bit. Hopefully that's still good. Please let me know. Sorry, I hate doing this thing on the fly, but we definitely have had some problems with this the last few days, so I'm trying to fix it. Anyways, Ling's having a bit of a fight here. Drones from soO are going to pull back. And obviously, soO so far has been pretty unsuccessful with this attack. It's been a good defense from soO. soO's attack will end, by the way, when this queen pops out. Absolutely no way you can fight Ling on Ling with a queen defensively there as well. So as this pops, yeah, he is absolutely committed to just trading out for as much damage as he can get, which is honestly not that much overall. He gets 1 drone and 8 Lings for 12 Lings of his own. That's obviously a very good defense for soO, because now soO has been mining more throughout the game. He's already gone into a little bit of a worker lead once again. Yes, he lost some mining time fighting against those Zerglings, but that's about it. As you see the couple of Lings heading down to the bottom right hand side, they're just going to be chilling out just in front of this natural expansion, so they're just waiting out over here for the next couple of moments. And again, just going to see Queen able to inject into the Hatcher on the natural already. Couple of Queens going to go after those Zerglings, so dealing some damage here. Ling speed on the way from soO. Again, definitely not the best of starts from soO, though we do see the drone count from soO actually being a little bit up at the moment. We'll see if that's something that soO's able to maintain. I think it's just the difference because obviously soO has already dropped down a third hatchery, so he's already invested 300 minerals already over here. And obviously there's no minerals invested over here from soO just yet, so instead he's been able to just pump out drones. So I think that's a little bit of a difference that we're seeing, and it is obviously no third base from soO because he's playing a gasless opening, right? Until just recently he didn't have gas. Now that he does have gas rolling, we're going to be able to see the now he does have gas rolling. He's obviously going to be able to sub into the land the Rotron, but he doesn't want a third hatchery because it's very difficult to defend this third hatch super early if you don't have Ling speed. In the end, though, soO actually didn't commit to Ling speed himself, but he just knew soO didn't have Ling speed, and that's why he still got his hatchery up early, because he knew there was nothing to really defend it against, so he knew he could get that up. Nice job so far. Fun little mind games in the early stages of the ZvZ. As you do see again now, like that work count evening out, maybe even soO getting to a bit of a lead now that soO has had to spend the minerals elsewhere to catch up. Well, they're going to be done from both, so +1 and the road speed coming in at a pretty similar time on each side of the map. little bit of creep here from soO coming down this left-hand side. And the Queen just pushing out some creep spread out around the map. So looking to see what he can do with all of this at the moment, as we are going to be having the Roach speeds coming through. And just again seeing what's going to be happening next. There's a few Overlords on the way in. There's Overseer from soO going to come around the right-hand side as well. So as this comes around the right, we see a Changeling popping up from soO there, moving up in towards the Natural. Overseer going to be moving in towards the main base, and just going to be seeing that new retired Carapace from soO on the way up. So again, that's set to go. Again, there's that Queen able to nibble its way through that Overseer, so able to dish some damage out of this at the moment. And a few more Roaches just on the way up. Again, things slowing down here for a little while. +2 missile attack on the Evo chamber as well as getting started on each side of the map. So really just slowing it down. Neither player looking to jump into too crazy a set of action or anything so far. 8 more Roaches on the way up from soO. So, well, again, they're both kind of ping-ponging between worker leads. I think soO overall has had just that better income throughout the game. And right now is at that point where he's just up, you know, a good little bit of army supply. As he presses forwards, he's going to try and make use of this a little bit. So, coming down to the bottom right-hand side, well, nice defensive concave here from soO. He's able to pull his Queens into this fight as well, of course. Is that going to be enough for him? Because, again, numbers are overall kind of even. It was just soO that had that little bit of a lead for a moment. Love the Contaminate across the map, by the way, on the +2 missiles. Slowing that upgrade down. It wasn't going to be ready for this fight anyways. That is going to be soO turning soO around and actually winning this fight quite convincingly. And now soO goes into Tunneling Claws and Burrow upgrades. So soO is going to be up against some more of an aggressive style from soO. soO is going to be able to start harassing around the map a lot more easily. And just start making soO's life very difficult. So that's going to make soO's kind of set up now. I mean, straight up army supply-wise, soO should be in an advantage. But again, that mobility and that harassment potential of the Roaches of soO might just keep soO away from being able to commit to a fight. We'll see if soO strikes with +2 missiles though, because that Contaminate he hit on the Evo chamber a second time, he's absolutely looking to try and hit a big +2 timing. The dedication to hitting these Contaminates, that +2 has been denied twice now, so he's opened up a huge timing window where he's going to have +2 and soO will not, and that's going to make a big difference, as we are going to be seeing right away here. This Roach Ravager will just open up these rocks. There's Overseer hanging overhead, watching this army come across the map. Army supplies, pretty similar at the moment, so soO might not be able to push straight in here, even when he does get that +2 finished up. Come across the bars, he's going to split away last moment, but soO's paying attention. That Overseer is so frustrating to deal with. There's actually just no reliable way to kill it off here, actually. So that is very frustrating. There's another couple of corrosive bars going to be going down, this time from soO, trying to reach this Overseer of soO. soO's still trying to position. Again, he has the upgrade advantage at the moment, but unfortunately the upgrade advantage doesn't just mean you can attack into any position you want to. That's finally going to be a kill on an Overlord. How far is soO's +2? 30 seconds. So time is ticking away if soO is going to attack into this. I think soO just a little bit too good defensively at the moment. So he's going to go in 2 different directions now, send some Roaches around the right-hand side. Maybe this could be an opportunity for soO. He's going to get another Overlord here again. He's going to get some good damage done there, but soO with a good split of units going to be able to force this away. But now suddenly, actually, soO didn't see this army moving around for a moment, so soO is going to be able to get a fight. And a decent concave. He actually splits very far back. I'm not sure if soO really needed to. Now the corrosive bars, obviously, that is when he needs to reposition. soO is going to be able to get up to his +2 missile upgrade. By the way, he cancelled Tunneling Claws and Burrow to be able to survive against this as well. That's very cool. We'll talk about that more in a moment. But now this 4th base is going to go down, so soO is going to find the 4th catchery kill. And there's a couple of Roaches about to pop. Actually cancelled right there, so let's quickly talk about that Tunneling Claws and Burrow being cancelled. I think what soO saw was he realized that soO was going for a very large attack and just committing in. And obviously it was a very even game, and so soO, well, let's fight start up again. And so soO basically said, well, to be able to survive this, I need everything I can into Roach production. So he cancelled those upgrades, which wouldn't have helped him straight up in the fight. He obviously figured they just wouldn't be done in time to harass and to pull soO back. Well, here we go. Now soO is actually under attack across the map. That counter dealing a lot of damage as he is just going to dive on this army. Obviously, it does mean that there's not as many roaches here for soO as he might like. And his Ravagers are in the front line, so they're going down very quickly. soO dodges some corrosive files as well at the last moment there. And soO is really doing wonders on this side. These drones are actually starting to be defended as well as reinforcements start popping out from soO. And soO just struggling a little bit in the army supply. Well, burrow and unburrow those roaches, and Overseer was already there from soO to be able to deal with this. Now soO's Ravagers on this side of the map, though, are in some trouble as they're getting kind of surrounded by the roaches of soO. And the lack of reinforcements coming across the map here because they were dealing with the counterattack has actually cost soO a lot of units, and suddenly soO loses a lot of army. Maybe should have backed away before now. If he backed away before now, the 4th base of soO was dead. He had a worker advantage, and he still had a good amount of army. But now he's lost a lot of his army, and maybe soO has brought himself back into the game with that defense and soO's overcommitment. That attack is finally cleaned up over here. Wow, soO has a lot of minerals, but he just doesn't have that much gas, and that's what's stopping him from remaxing out now. Although that said, he actually maybe needs to spend some of those minerals on drones again, get that 4th base saturated. On less than 50 workers, things aren't looking pretty for him in that regard. +1 carapace from soO, so he's actually going to have an upgrade advantage as well. Well, he will also build a Hydraless Den, and at this stage, just a few Hydras, well, it keeps you very safe against a Muta switch. As long as you feel comfortable that you're not just going to die in the Roach Ravager kind of push, then, yeah, as long as you're confident you're not going to die to the Roach Ravager push or so, then the Hydra Den is actually a nice choice just to transition later in the game, because you can also go into the Lurker Den, right? You don't necessarily have to add Hydras into the army. The Lurker Den is another completely viable way to make things happen here, so that's going to be seeing the +2 the Extractor on the way down here. Lurker Den does drop, so that is going to be the reason for the Hydraless Den out of soO here. Bruce Spine starting on the Hydra Den. Army spread across the 2 bases here as well. And I was going to see nice catching from soO. Finds a few roaches. Well, soO never took advantage of the advantage he really had, so soO is able to set himself up into a position now where he's kind of remaxed out. He's rebuilt the work count. He's actually the player of a bank, but he's the player that hasn't teched up. In the Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament quarterfinals against Namshar, soO kind of lost a lot of games because he just headbutted himself with Roach Ravager against Lurkers, so without transitioning himself, it's definitely something we've seen soO kind of die to before. And as soon as those Lurkers up, this becomes a very unengageable position for soO, so he does have to be a little bit cautious about that. This is a fight that soO might actually win. He actually has a bit of a better concave. The numbers are more even than they thought they were at first. A couple of Hydras getting picked off here right away. Again, the problem is these Hydras don't do much right away. Like, the extra 1 or 2 you add in, they're no better than just having Ravagers. So that's why soO's able to fight so easily right now. Getting rid of these Hydras before they're morphed into Lurkers is obviously very nice. I mean, can't build Lurkers if the Hydras died already. However, some units from the bottom side here. soO still has a good army to fight with at the moment. A lot of Roach Ravagers still trading out. He needs his reinforcements to get here, though. It's the same scenario as before. soO does very well until just now, when suddenly his Ravagers get chased away. And now soO can make Lurkers. Those Hydras pulling back, it's instantly what he builds because he knows he needs them to help him defend these attacks. Well, if the Lurkers up, this does change the game. And I mean, soO must assume Lurkers are an option at the moment for soO because he saw the Hydralisks. And if there's Hydras, you absolutely have to be, at this stage, like 15 minutes into a ZvZ, you have to just think to yourself, okay, well, Lurkers are an absolute possibility here. Because otherwise the Hydras just don't really make sense. Otherwise, again, like I was mentioning, Ravagers are a lot better. And that's why soO was able to do well in this fight. The Hydras don't add that much into the fight compared to the extra Ravagers that soO had. So soO was able to trade very well. Now, I mean, for now, sure knows about the Lurkers as they get their first couple of shots off. What does soO do? Does he really try and just headbutt into this with Roach Ravager? I mean, that's what soO has done before. Looks like he's going to go up this ramp. The Lurkers will have to reposition here to be able to deal with this. They're all down over to the other side, so yeah, the Lurkers here not going to be able to do too much, and they're not even coming that far forward. The first corrosive bars there now dropping towards the Lurk. They're going to force a reburrow. Again, you can see soO just kind of dancing around, just trying to pick off this hatchery as soO trying to bait soO backwards in towards the lurker fire as well. A few corrosive bars going to go down on eggs that are morphing. It's a couple of hydras actually do get out of there. This is a very forward lurker now, and that should be targetable. He does get some corrosive bars onto them. soO making the dive forwards to try and clean out this army. The lurkers obviously coming into this fight a little bit more. Definitely do help. Some roaches from the back from soO. Because soO's going to clean this up. Again, the lurker's able to corner these units in. And not just that, soO defends with the hatchery alive on only 70 health. I mean, that's a corrosive bile away from being dead, right? I mean, that is... Okay, 2 corrosive biles. I mean, that's something that's really a little bit unfortunate for soO, because 2 biles at any point that hit this hatchery rather than, you know, positioning elsewhere. And that dies, and then soO is down a base, and then maybe soO can say, okay, well, you know, I got something out of this, I slowed down your economy. Right now, all soO can say is, oh, crap, you've got lurkers and I don't. And, you know, we're still mining similar amounts as well. So you've seen a couple of extra lurkers burrowing up. Obviously, the count for lurkers is getting, I guess, kind of scarier now. I mean, there's a few of them over here. There's also some in the center, so there's just much more, you know, a few more to spread around. And again, soO right now, I feel like this is the stage where you backed away from that fight, where you throw down an infestation pit. You go in a hive and you get vipers. You know, a way to deal with those lurkers, or at the very least get lurkers of your own. Instead, he's going to max out on Roach Ravager. And I can almost feel what's going to happen. He's going to max out on Roach Ravager. He's going to go across the map and he's going to attack straight into, you know, lurkers, and he's going to die. You know, it's not a pretty position. It's not a pretty way for things to play out. At all. Roaches, Ravagers, lurkers pressing through the center. Actually able to catch a Ravager there with the couple of shots. So you're trying to really, again, push up into the space. At this point, I would almost just move command some roaches up there to target fire it down. I mean, he would get 4 roaches up there to be able to do that, I think, in time, but not being overly confident with it. This attack is turned away, and again, now soO's actually going to be the defender against lurkers. I mean, soO obviously gets these lurkers into position. It becomes extremely difficult for soO to ever fight this. Now, Ravager wanted to be a lurker. He wanted to try and do his best, burrowed in the ground there, but unfortunately he has no spikes to throw. Imagine you could burrow a Ravager and cast Corrosive Bile, and it just moves through the ground and then pops up like a volcano, like a lava geyser or something. It's like the anti-like Corrosive Bile. Only cast spell while the Ravagers are burrowed, but you can't actually see where it's going to be unless you have detection. God, that'd be OP. Actually, probably would suck. maybe it wouldn't be that OP. You just get detection. Anyways, Roaches Ravagers, in all seriousness here, are having to try and defend for soO, and again, the lurkers are just going to deal so much damage, and so I think soO is absolutely going to be able to make this work out in game number 1. On the right side, these few roaches are going to be able to get this hatchery. I mean, over here again, soO trading and trading and trading. I mean, somehow the army supplies are still very similar. Can soO somehow fight his way through this? I mean, at the start of this fight, it was going very badly for soO. Now he's kind of getting on top of the lurkers. The lurkers go down, they're very expensive to replace. So, has some roaches on the top side to deal with as well. And that's kind of the problem here, because soO's actually able to wrap around. And with the wrap around, the lurkers will die. Oh my god, this ZvZ is actually incredible. How many times can this game go back and forth? As on 19 minutes in, they are both still stuck on just the 4 bases. This is truly crazy. 4 more Ravagers starting up here between the bases now. And there's a 5th hatchery dropping in from soO on the bottom side of the map. This hatchery on the far left hand side also going to get ready to go. So it is going to be attempts from both players to take a 5th. Interesting enough, they're expanding kind of both towards each other. Oh, soO just cancels that base right away. Long distance mining drones will not do well here. Does soO have healthier bases than soO? Not really, it's actually pretty similar. Maybe a little bit healthier. Obviously, if soO has mined a little less this game, means he's still got a bit more to get out of those bases, and so a 5th isn't... I mean, obviously 5th is pretty crucial from both. It's a very fine line. Man, it was a hell of a fight from soO to clean this up. Again, these roaches that kind of flanked around in the end did very well. I think for a moment soO was just fighting down here, and a lot of the lurkers just weren't in range, so actually he kind of gave up a lot of his Roach Ravager without backing away like he should have done. And when that happens, obviously then soO breaks through the Roach Ravager line, then the lurkers go down pretty quickly, right? Even if they do pretty good damage, they still do at that point fall pretty fast, so a few corrosive bars dropping, but not connected on that Overlord, which is just tracking the army across the map. soO is once again up in army supply, so trying to make something happen here, but it's so difficult with those lurkers in play. So difficult with those lurkers in play. It's a nice corrosive bar to take down 2 Overlords at once. Again, this army just moving all over the place. 4 more lurkers in production. Well, again, to get a start here in the Masters Coliseum semi-finals. Again, 2 best-of-7s today. soO versus soO and also Innovation versus Bunny. As Roach Ravager moves up this ramp, going to start pressing forwards already. A lurker goes down. We'll see a couple more corrosive bars dropping off here. And he's pressing forwards. Let's see what's happening. Obviously, more lurkers joining the fray as well. On the bottom side, these roaches backing off. Guys, I don't know what my computer is doing. I don't know why we're having issues here. I don't know why my CPU is going so crazy. Keep an eye on that. Again, just going to see Roaches and Ravagers pressing in. We're going to be seeing a little bit of a back and forth fight. And a couple of corrosive bars dropping down. And again, the problem is you're consistently fighting into lurkers here as soO. Roach is coming up to the top side. soO going to take even more damage. This is, I think, soO finally just falling apart a little bit here as these roaches on the left are going to be able to pick up a little bit more. And Roaches and Ravagers still sitting on the left-hand side, and just maybe seeing soO a few more corrosive bars up towards that hatchery right there. Has the army supply to maybe make this work right now? Has the Overseers in the sky, so he should be able to target down those lurkers. And that should be just about it for soO. Not enough left over. And that is going to be soO picking up game number 1 of this best of 7. Let's go, and as we do have to the top left-hand side, our Blue Zerg. This up 1-0 is soO. One hell of a game to get us started in this ZvZ semi-final. And down to the bottom right-hand side, we do have the red Zerg player, soO. So basically, I give you a Hatchcast Pillar Piece, quick rundown of what's happened lately. So basically, I updated my version of XSplit because I was having some XSplit issues. But because of that, I've had some microphone problems. And because I've had some microphone problems, obviously it's been kind of weird to like fix and stuff like that because I haven't had microphone problems for a long time. So basically, what the really good thing about the new version of XSplit is there is a noise suppression feature, and it actually gets rid of a lot of the background static that I've always had problems with on my stream, right? And so when I just turned that off, immediately like a cheesy buffalo says, "Whoa, there's constant static all of a sudden," right? And that is because I turned off the noise suppression feature, which I was like, well, that's the only thing I've really changed other than updating XSplit versions. But then it turns out that actually, something just completely reset my microphone settings on Windows. So yeah, the gain was just going to be, the gain was like way higher than usually is. Like usually I have it on 24%. I don't know why 24 is just where it's been at for ages. I have it written down somewhere. And while it's on 24%, it reset to 100. So it's like essentially 4 times louder than usual. So I'm like trying to turn my microphone down on my soundboard, like, man, if I usually turn it down this much, no one can hear me. So like, what's going on? And now you guys are like, well, everything is going wrong. Obviously, then when you turn it down on the Windows levels, I can turn my soundboard back up to where it usually is, and now it should be a lot better. Like now it should be, like just completely fixed. So again, so sorry for that, guys. It's one of these things. I've been so busy lately. It's like birthdays this week with my family and stuff, and I've been trying to get my life together as well as streaming and also having some social time and hanging out with. It's just been a crazy week, and I didn't get to spend as much time trying to fix that as I'd like to. Because I feel like if I had actually just sat down for an hour and was like, right, let's reset this, that would have been fixed right away. So sorry for doing this live on the stream. Just one of those issues, guys. One of those issues. So I do apologize for that. Right, Lingbane here on Acropolis, as you guys probably want to hear more about the ZvZ. So a couple of Banes already morphing in here from soO to get aggressive in this second game. But there is defensive Banelings from soO, so yeah, soO making a lot of Lings as well. Don't think soO will find much opportunity here. He's already droning up. Of course, after this, soO will probably counterattack himself and force soO to make units, and then soO will drone up. And you just kind of play that ping-pong back and forth kind of action in kind of terms of, you know, I take my turn to drone, you take your turn to drone, and so on and so forth. Very respectful from soO almost, as we do see the two Banelings and the Zerglings left between the bases here. So he's actually leaving some units at home, just respecting that soO might counterattack himself. soO actually has nothing currently to deal with these Lings running across the map though, so soO getting straight into this third base. You can see the difference in worker count, by the way, 42 to 36, so you can kind of understand why soO wants to counterattack. He definitely has made enough units to get something done, and kills two Queens. It's not a bad start. That's 300 minerals that are going to get fixed a lot. They're starting up in the main base again. They're ready to go again. A couple of Banelings from soO back up the right-hand side. We're just going to be seeing the +1 missiles coming in from each player. So, again, this ready to roll. And there's a couple more Queens on the way out. That first game, by the way, was really kind of back and forth one. Lots of different stages to it, and I mean, I honestly thought when the Lurkers came up, I really thought soO had it. soO kind of did what I thought he was going to do as well, attack into the Lurkers and lose a lot, and he kind of did, and being able to turn it around from there, I really think soO just didn't take advantage of the fact that he was in a very good position after those Lurkers cleaned up a little bit. Yumtez Carapace on the way in here from soO Lair, coming up on each side of the map. As you see this Queen pushing the Overlord down the left-hand side.
Game paused.
So we're going to ask for a quick little pause. Looks like we'll resume nice and quickly. There's not really too many problems there, as you do see again the Lings and the Bane hanging out on the right side. There's a 4th hatchery dropping here as well from soO, out towards the center of the map. So, and this hatchery, you do just have the Spire on the way up. So Spire coming through at the moment. Just looking to see kind of how things turn out as we have the Queen pushing this Overseer out over towards the center. So soO again with the player changing this up, but Hydralisk Den already on the way down, so having a scout on the Spire gives soO plenty of time to respond to this. Fourth base of soO up the right side, and again a few Zerglings moving around as well. Coming back up and through the middle of the map right now also, so back around to the top. A single Zergling goes off, and the Baneling is going to be picked off there. I mean, again, nothing too crazy as soO has plenty of roaches to help him defend. Here in Acropolis, I mean, yeah, look at that right away. I was going to say it's another like nice big macro map. It's absolutely the kind of map where you can make use of, you know, the Lurkers once again to just hold a lot of the bases and to get yourself set up into a very strong later game position. So soO going in towards that Lurker Den once more is not a surprise to me. soO still will commit to a few of these Mutalisks. So still getting a few of these up and running. Archers all gathering up together, and we are going to be seeing soO is kind of, I mean, with a few meters on the map, seems like he's just going to go for then a big kind of roach burst to try and clean this game out a little bit. Just pushing around the Overseer on the right-hand side, so pushing that over to the sides there. There are the mutants coming through and able to pick off an Overlord kill. 20 more Zerglings on the way up, and 5 roaches also coming through. A lot of lings from soO, actually. He's going into Baneling speed, which is probably why. The thing is, the problem for soO is actually that soO isn't like super heavy on the Hydra count. soO isn't super heavy on the Hydra. soO isn't super heavy on the Hydra count. Sorry, my stream just died for a second. Ay. Everything is dying today. And so, because he's more heavy on the lurk count, the Banelings actually are unlikely to be super successful in this. Ravager is able to pick up that Overlord kill, and Roaches and Hydras up on this high ground. We're going to see push forwards. A few meters coming forwards as well, and we do see the Banes pressing through. I mean, there is a few Hydras there, but the Lurkers really do clean up the majority of those Banes before they get into the army, and I think soO is making a pretty good defense out of this. He does lose one of his Lurkers. The Mutant's trying to come back in as well, but there's enough Hydras to push those Mutants away, so the Mutan's not going to be able to do too much, honestly. They're going to go to the side here and fight a Queen and some Overlords, but actually, I think in general, soO is kind of running out of steam on this attack. He needs to pull those Ravagers back, definitely. If anything he saves, those would be the things. He actually had a lot of money in the bank as well, though, so maybe he isn't completely done just yet as he goes into another round of Roach Ravager. Again, just a very soO-esque style of just committing to a very large army, of a very low-tech army, and just getting as much of it out as possible. Roaches, Ravagers pressing forwards once again, still pulling back over that right-hand side. soO's army around the upper right. Nubataz Carapace on the way up from soO. More Roaches being built. soO pressing forward is going to be able to actually grab a couple of these Lurkers right away, so nice pickoffs right there. And Roaches and Ravagers continue to fight. There's actually an overwhelming amount of army here for soO. He is losing the fight to the left-hand side, though, but the Muta's actually going to find the Lurkers until they get burrowed up. Well, I think soO's eventually going to lose this fight on the top side as well, as soO is going to be on top of those Ravagers, and losing the Ravagers is obviously very painful. It looks like soO is going to push back soO and kills the Overseers, so even more gas that soO has to spend to be able to reliably fight, of course, because without those Overseers you can't see the Lurkers, and then you don't know what you're attacking into, which obviously doesn't work well. Nice bars, at least picking up one of the Lurkers as soO chases forward. soO might be able to deflect. Again, this little army of soO still pressing forwards here, and Roaches and Hydras and Ravagers going to try and see what they can do. More corrosive bars dropping down all over the place. And in soO this time, I feel like it's the same as the last game. soO lost a lot trying to attack into these positions, and this time soO just doesn't let it slip away from him. This time soO says, right, I've got my advantage, let's roll with it. Like, I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. I'm not going to let you get away with it like you did last time around as well. Oh, 5 more Lurkers being brought into play. soO just hanging out on this 4th base to try and defend. Down 35 army supply, going to be tough. Gets the Queen sniped down instantly, although he does battle a Ravager. And I feel like those Lurkers are just a little far away. He's just going to start slowly kind of leapfrogging them forwards. He doesn't want to unburrow them all at once, because that's maybe when soO can collapse in on this. And that's maybe when soO can perhaps turn this around. soO's Concave looks good to begin with, but again, those Lurkers, so scary to fight into. Because soO has to be careful. He has to run back into the Lurker fight. He can't just fight the, Roaches against Roach Ravager. Has to have the Lurkers in these engagements. I think this time he has done it correctly, kind of as he should have been doing. This is kind of what went wrong when he did get aggressive last game, right? He kind of took this fight here and then never backed back into the Lurkers. And so things never really worked out. Of this best of 7, guys, as we do have to the bottom right hand side our blue Zerg player from ZvZ Esports. This is soO. And at the top left-hand side, our red Zerg player from Triumphant Zone Gaming, we have got soO. Alrighty, so getting this ready to go. We do see a couple of overlords coming out through the center of the map. So a couple of overlords going in each direction here on Thunderbird for our third map of the series. So getting that up and running. Tied up 1-1 in this. Again, best of 7. Nice long series here. Will the grand finals be today as well? No. Today is only going to be the semi-finals. Grand finals will be next week. A week yesterday. A week on Tuesday, basically. So on Tuesday. On Tuesday. Overlord from soO heading towards the upper left-hand side. A drone from soO coming down, going to go mining away on this natural expansion as well. So getting all of this set up at the moment. Link speed coming in on each side of the map. So getting that link speed up and rolling. As we do have the overlords again just out into the center of things. Third hatchery dropping down on each side of the map. So pretty typical. Probably the Lingbane opener. We could maybe get away with going straight into the Rotron here. Definitely a possibility. So you're going to see a banner that's dropping down from soO to get things started. A couple of Zerglings heading down to the bottom right-hand side. Again, that link speed going to be finishing in the next few moments, so Lingbane on the way up, but both of them also going into that Evo chamber pretty quickly, so both of them will allow themselves to kind of establish in towards the missile upgrade already. And that just means that they're both kind of not really committed to Lingbane, they're just setting up for it just in case the other does commit. You have to be ready to commit yourself, right? So it's kind of that game of, it's not really a game of anything, it's just that situation where you just kind of have to, you just have to do it. You just have to commit into it, so yeah. Bottom side, the single Zerglin of soO running around. +1 missiles. Oh, it's going to be a +1 melee actually from soO. That is a bit different. +1 melee, very different here actually. I'm going to take things in a bit of a different direction in general. So the Rotron, probably a bit of a fake out. Okay, cancels melee. Maybe he is just going to go missiles. Or maybe he just wants to go for a Nidus all-in. He sells the idea of a +1 missiles. But then why would he start melee of all things? Is he going to start an upgrade again? He has the Link Scouts. Doesn't get close enough. He does select the Evo Chamber. It feels like soO wants to do something very cheeky. Does soO recognize that Evo isn't upgraded now? Okay, he's going to drop the Spire. Which I kind of agreed with the +1 melee for. Like, you could definitely play kind of like a Ling Muta style. He's just going to go into +1 missiles now, though. So eventually he does start up missiles. Maybe just a bit of indecision from soO as to how he wants to do things here. Alright, little Spire. Lings down in that bottom right corner. Lings will grab a creep tumor at the front as that one Zerglin sneaking through in towards the main base is going to get picked off. These other Zerglins are solo heading back to the top side. Obviously not a game where you really commit into a lot of Ling Bane. With the way that things have played out. There's a few more Lings actually from soO. He is actually soO down quite a bit in army. In drones rather, I should say. His army supply will be down as well because obviously soO has already started to build roaches here. There's not really much these Lings can do if only one entrance into the bases. Bane's cover it pretty well. It's a very nice scout into the main though. It's actually a very nice scout into the main base so far, as there's a couple of Banelings coming up as well. Roach is able to snipe one of them down. And Spain's looking for other places they can connect. Can soO get that base? He does force a cancel. Not bad actually, getting a cancel on the base. Means that there's no creep spread here for that little bit longer, so it's actually more difficult to get defense up against the mutas. So the mutas may be able to cancel that base once again. Already, by the way, infestation pit coming down here from soO. I was going to actually mostly say Baneling speed from soO, so he actually wants to commit into Banes as a response to, I think he's getting ready for Hydras, but actually maybe we won't see Hydras at all. Instead looking to maybe see Infestors out of solar. So like an Infestor Queen based defense. It means you do have to stay very defensive, but of course it's a map that is very easy to stay defensive on because you have plenty of bases close to each other here, so as the mutas come over, they've been obviously killing some of these overlords, so the extra couple of spores, he's going into 2 spores per base. Extra spores going to be finished up as the mutas arrive, so not a lot of chance for the mutas to do much other than kill those overlords. Again, this 4th base I feel is one of the weaker scenarios, and actually soO just straight up cancels the base. I think he just knew it was probably going to go down, so he just gets those extra minerals already. Wow. Very interesting. And as now we're going to see soO utilizing the ability to hit a few drones on the sides. He's actually the only base he doesn't have a second spore crawl on, probably because he was keeping the queens nearby, but does allow for a few drone kills. Again, Bane speed going to finish. Roach is now coming across the map. soO's army supply, by the way, 106 to 59. soO has invested so much into the defense of these Mutalisks, and obviously into Infestors as well. These aren't necessarily going to be ready to help defend against this army, so here we go. Roach is just going to press up this ramp, and soO's just going to go into this here again. It's the Infestors that are on the way that are just a lot of money that hasn't really been, brought into play properly just yet. Now, obviously, if these roaches kill off these queens as well, you can see the queens are being kept very safe from, so they're trying to pull them back as far as possible. That one spore crawler, by the way, as well, is actually such a pain in the ass because it means these mutas can't just dive properly into this fight. But soO just has so much as he runs in again. He's going to force all the transfusions off the queens. These Infestors are going to spawn with energy, and they drop a fungal growth down, but I'm not sure how much that really achieves altogether here. These Infestors on the left side drop Infestor Terrans to help hold on. I mean, already 2 Infestors going down. There's no burrow to save them. And now the Infestors are actually out of energy as they've used all the Infestor Terrans they can. I mean, that's not good, right? I mean, you have no energy left on these Infestors. They're like a huge part of your army. You don't really have any army left beyond those. Spore Crawler relocating will probably grab this 1 meter on the back. Now, as more roaches come up here, I mean, Infestor Terrans, you don't want to fight those because they're about to expire anyways. And as soO just gathers up, it looks like he'll get ready for another push up this ramp. He still has a few mutas left in play. Again, those Infestors will not be able to do much more than, again, like 5 Infestor Terrans. It's really just not scary. Obviously, soO started attacking at the right time. He's going to keep attacking at a good time. And that's going to be GG. soO with a deadly timing here on Thunderbird. Those mutas. Let's get this going. As we go into map 4. Can soO take himself up to match point? He's our blue Zerg in the top right-hand side. Up against the red Zerg in the bottom left from Triumphant Sun Gaming. Solar. So Hatchery, starting up on the bottom left and the top right. Hatchery first from each here to get things underway. So Overlord's moving across the map early on. Hatch gas and a spawner pool gonna be the choices. Obviously, Turbo Cruise for ZvZ. It can get weird with these inhibitor zones. Middlers are kind of work okay on this map because the inhibitor zones do slow those attacks from coming across. But honestly, pretty much anything goes on this map as well. You know, you can definitely see some Roach Ravager plays. It is just tough to be like all in on this map because if you have to push through this inhibitor zone while attacking and the free bases over here, you're generally met by an army here already. So, same as most matchups, right? It's very difficult to commit to a very dedicated attack on this map early on. Overlord is going to be hanging out just overhead on the natural then. Link speed will start on each side of the map. Couple of queens on the way. And a few more drones on the way out also. So all of this getting set to go as we do see a few Zerglings of soO moving out up through the center. A little bit of harassment here, of course, on this hatchery already. Balin S dropping down on the natural of soO, so getting that ready to go, and again, just fueling the queen. Coming back and forth, then again, there's that third hatchery down on each side of the map. 16 more Zerglings being built from soO. No Balin nest from him, so he's just looking to try and flood across here. But with a Balin nest from soO, I can't imagine that soO is going to be too successful with these Zerglings. Drone drops in the main base as we do see the Lings moving up through to the upper right hand side. They'd have to definitely take a little bit of damage right here, so maybe soO can get something done with this. soO's Banelings coming forwards right now. Is that enough to defend? He's going to push the Lings off the hatchery for a moment. Good connection as well. So the hatchery will survive, but soO's already going into a Roach roll in as a follow-up, so he's just going to get super aggressive. As mentioned, it's at this sort of timing, the aggressive attacks aren't really shut down that easily because you don't have an army of your own to kind of stand here and kind of fight, right? Like, this is meant to hit before soO really has an army up, so this sort of attack works well because it is still a bit of a shorter rush distance. When I was talking about those attacks that struggle a little bit here, I'm talking about like maybe like a +1 Roach time or a +2, like where you're very committed to it, because then you do have units as soO which can sit here and take a very good trade to start with. What does soO have right now to take a good trade with? Well, not really anything at all. As the Zerglings coming through the bottom right hand side. More Roaches on the way up here at the moment as you do just see this attack going up through the center. So Roaches heading towards the top right hand side again. Lings, Baneling gathering up a little bit back and forth here. Ooh, good defense by soO in the end. Well, now these Roaches are about to arrive. soO has been making some Roaches of his own, so his army supply is actually not bad. With Banelings to help him clean out these initial few Zerglings, he's actually going to get some splash on the Roaches as well. Help out a little bit on the damage there. The first Ravager gets cancelled. Zerglings continue to help out. Now the Ling's going to fight Lings on the right-hand side as well. The Roaches from soO kind of get on top of this army from soO, but I think soO just has a bit too much, and obviously soO comes out of this in a very good position as he, oh my god, he just cleans up everything. Wow, soO just gets completely shut down. Third and fourth and second. And of course, if you then win the tournament, $3,000 for first place. To the bottom left-hand side, our blue Zerg player, this from Chivo, is soO. Up against the red Zerg in the top right from Triumphant Stone Gaming, soO. What do you feel? soO kind of had the better position in that. I really feel like the first two games really went soO's way, and now soO is I mean, I don't even know, like, I feel like soO pulled off a very nice attack on Thunderbird, and then soO decided to really switch things up for game 4 that didn't go right, and now I wonder if soO should maybe he's afraid to kind of go back into that lurker style, because while he did controller games, they weren't still super clean, and so, especially if that loss in the first game, maybe he just feels as though he's a little bit more afraid than he should be, because honestly I feel like that was when soO looked the weakest. Once you get those lurkers up, soO just headbutts into them and definitely creates opportunities for you to kind of win out there as the lurker player. I mean, obviously it's nice to just change things up as well sometimes to keep it fresh, but that's tough to, it's kind of tough going in a series, because, or in a longer series, because, especially when you're down, you change things up and now you get further behind, and now you're kind of on match point as soO, and so soO has to look at this and say, well, now I just have to play like super seriously, and I mean obviously he's playing seriously before, but now he has to make like every choice right, and if he tries to switch something up, it's going to be very, it's almost like, yes, of course it can work, but all it takes is if you do something cheesy for soO to figure it out and to respond correctly, and then there's only so much you can really do. Then there's only so much you can really achieve, so yeah, pretty, should be pretty funky as we get this rolling. In the next few moments, guys, again, just going to see that queen coming up on the natural, that link speed coming through. soO goes into a fast Evo Chambers. He's going to go for a Carapace upgrade early in the game. So soO going to change this up with a Carapace. And that means he's going to have a very strong Ling timing here. Now, his Ling speed will be later, but when he does get Lings out, obviously that, his Lings are going to be more powerful. Now, this is very punishable if soO figures it out early on. The problem is, figuring it out early is unlikely to happen. As we see soO getting a couple of shots off. As long as soO doesn't get into the base, soO is pretty much unpunishable for going Carapace first. Unless soO just like blindly spams things, but that's not usually a very kind of good way to play it out. Link speed will start here. Again, there's a couple of Lings from soO just heading across to this left-hand side already. There's some missiles and Ling speed on the way up. Ling speed is about to complete. More Zerglings getting started as well. 2 more extractors coming up from soO. soO moves into the main base, a single Zergling. Going a little bit of a run around. A couple of Lings of soO pop out. Going to be able to clean that up. And there's the lair now from soO on the way. Yeah, in the main base again, that lair up and running. Obviously, he does not have a third hatch. He goes very quickly into a Rotron at the front, but that might just be a bit of a fake out, right? Because now as soO scouts, he is in a position where I guess he sees the Evo Chamber, so yeah, he doesn't actually scout the Rotron. That scout is big for soO. Really, really nice for him. Well, soO's got a lot of Lings that are seen as well. I think soO is just trying to, again, very quickly, like 180 this into Roaches. And soO goes Carapace himself. He is also going into Rotron. It's just a bit of a mess of a game because of the scouting that's happening and players trying to keep on top of it. These Lings of soO hanging out down to the bottom right-hand side. +1 missiles on the way up here. +1 Carapace as well. Yeah, I imagine soO will go straight into his missile upgrade as well after this. I feel like soO's transitioned quite seamlessly, considering he was trying to do something a little bit different to what he committed to in the end. Like, yeah, he still let the +1 Carapace finish, but I don't think he ever made as many Lings as he was going to originally. Just because, again, soO did get a bit of a scout off. Now, soO does have to get that third hatch up. That's something soO already has, and soO is up by about 10 workers already, actually. soO making Roaches. I wonder if soO can do something with a +1 missile time with Roach speed as well. Like if he just doesn't make any more drones at all. The problem is soO is already making units off of more drones. The only advantage soO will really have is going to be the +1 missiles, which is powerful at times. Is it powerful enough, though? Well, that's the question we're left asking ourselves, as these Zerglings already going to go darting by, but Roaches will put a stop to that before it even really begins. he's going to drop a Spire. Now he's going to start droning up as well. I think with the scouting of these lings, he gets to see that there's roaches already going in, you know, coming up here, and as he already gets to see that, now he can build the Spire and say, well, yeah, I've got to try and transition and do something. So Spire is one way of doing that. This overseer from soO trying to figure out what's going on. So he will not start +2 missiles, so he will lose a bit of his upgrade lead. But that's just because he wants to try and get enough gas up to be able to afford a good amount of Mutalisks to get some, you know, to get some damage done here. We're just pressing through the bottom side of the map at the moment. Not going to get very far before they turn back around, though. So it's coming up to the top side. Roach, Tunneling Claws, and the Burrow upgrade coming in from soO at the moment. All of these Zerglings over to the far left-hand side. A single Ling moving forwards, and soO with a lot of units to be able to turn that around. And soO's about to start making Mutalisks, but he can't really. He just only has 400 gas, right? So it's not quite enough yet. It's just tough. I mean, in general, soO's actually played a very good game. I thought soO was able to transition quite nicely from what he was setting up for, and then he didn't commit to. But all said and done, soO's just created that worker lead, and he's really kept this worker lead. I think just multiple times soO's kind of had an idea and it's just not quite come to fruition, and one too many times now soO's just gone unpunished for being able to drone up. And so now soO's just holding. I mean, he's about to be maxed out. I wouldn't be even surprised if we just saw this army starting to move across the map as well, right? Definitely something of a possibility here as Lings and Roaches coming through the left-hand side. Very quick response from soO up the left, going to be able to turn some of these Zerglings away. Nice and quickly. On the bottom, some Roaches and Rav just pressing in as well. Again, not really able to do too much right away, and the Mutas do kind of show up, so soO's going to be turned back. He does have some Lings in the main base. These little run-bys are frustrating to deal with, but soO seems to be on top of it. Nice little burrow play. If soO wasn't paying attention, that could actually get out with, you know, some Lings alive. Well, looks like he does seem to know about it. Well, soO with a very good defense still is just missing some drones, but actually has a higher army supply than his opponent. And soO's already making Hydras, though, so these Mutalisks are not going to do a lot. But then again, they don't need to do a lot. There's only 5 of them, so it's a very low commitment to the Mutalisks. God, this Queen nearly died. Survives on 1 HP as the Lings pop back up. He's still gathering on the bottom as you see Mutalisks wanting to press back in. Huge army from soO down the bottom side. Another couple of Ravagers going to morph in as well. A couple of Spine Crawlers on the way up. Taz Carapace going to finish shortly as the +2 missile attack upgrade from soO coming in as well in the Evo chamber. He does find themselves an Overlord kill, and now heading up to the top side, we do see soO going to press forwards here with this Roach Ravager army. He actually is going to get a high ground position before soO's in location. This Hatchery might just die super fast here. So he's being very careful about it. He wants to keep the concave. He wants to stay on this kind of side. When the Hatchery dies, he loses that concave a little bit because soO has more space to work with as well. Nice kill though. He's going to turn and Carissa Bowers just keeps soO's army back as soO's going in towards those lurkers. And he's back to that style of games number 1 and 2, and I absolutely think that, you know, that style in games number 1 and 2 was a good style for soO. I think he could put him into good positions with the way that soO responds. So let's see if he can end up getting there. Obviously, sniping the 4th base is already a great start, though, from soO. soO is going to get that 4th base started again now. It'd be unlikely that soO gets into that position again without soO contesting it a bit more heavily this time around. Overlord getting picked off, and soO still trying to come forwards at the moment. A couple more corrosive bars dropping. Lurker Den will finish shortly though, and again, I wonder what soO's plan is, you know, as he has even a macro hatchery coming up. No 5th base, just a 4th that he hasn't been mining from. like, he has the money to start transitioning through to deal with these lurkers, but instead he just seems to, you know, want to deal with this with just this army. You know, he just wants to go with this. There's a lot of army actually from soO on the bottom side as he commits down there, expecting, I think, soO to split this army up, but not the case at all. Those mutas are very good at cleaning up a lot of these units around the maps, the overlords, etc. And so soO is really limited in terms of vision, and that's what makes this play so powerful from soO. If soO can't see what's happening as easily, well then, of course, you know, soO can really outposition him a lot. Lurkers are on the way up, though. The mutas have actually just missed these roaches heading across the map, so the counter looks as though it will be good. And we've seen the sport roll in the front there going down. Again, those roaches going across the map. soO will have to try and find a way to deal with that. He doesn't have anything at home. Okay, like 4 roaches or so. Well, nothing compared to the numbers of roaches heading in towards the main base at the moment, though. And it's just a shame those mutas were a bit too far to the south, maybe expecting the roaches to come out over here rather than straight up through the center. Just moving into the main base, and they are going to be able to start dealing some damage. Actually, more reinforcements here than I thought from soO, and he's not going to do badly at cleaning this up, I don't think. Just needs an overseer or two to give him the detection. Actually, not doing so hot in the main. Lurkers are going to get themselves in a pretty abusable position here. I mean, if you get this the lurkers over here and you kind of force the fight into the lurkers, it works quite well, but the lurkers are going down pretty quickly in this fight. But soO's losing this fight on the upper side, so his Ravagers are going to drop down. It's very expensive for soO. He rebuilds 50 roaches. Both players losing a lot here. 33 roaches from soO. He instantly morphs in more lurkers. Couple of changelings dropping down. And again, just going to be seeing the Roach Hydra Force picking off these rocks and opening up attack through into this Roach Ravager army. A little bit of a split away there. And this army of soO going to start pressing forwards. Corrosive Bouts coming down as these lurkers have to keep just unburrowing and moving backwards over the right-hand side. More Corrosive Bouts dropping in, and there is a lurker there, which is super low HP. If soO can get rid of that, soO's army isn't that great, and soO's army is also just so much larger for a little while. It's a 14 worker difference in the game, which means that typically soO just has a larger army than soO at any given point. Which is what I'm just pressing forward, and we are seeing again, without those lurkers, soO just doesn't win these fights. Now the lurkers do show up, and that's where soO just backs away, and now again, this is where soO takes a few too many shots, I think, without the lurkers in range. soO has money to rebuild, so he can remax one more time here, it would seem, and that would pretty much just spend his bank, as soO's bank is also spent. Nice catch up from the mutas, finding the roaches to the top side already, so just looking to shut these down. I mean, even just knowing that they're there, right, should allow soO to set up something of a response to them. Lurkers holding this position and holding the bottom side full for soO as well. Obviously changing direction up a little bit with the where he takes the 4th base. Holding this base up here was a bit too tough with the way that soO was moving the army. Holding the base in the line should be that much easier as soO is maxed out and pressing through. A couple of Corrosive Bars dropping down again without the lurkers, so has to be super careful about these fights, but he does pick off 2 Ravagers there. And this few roaches just still burrowed up in the main. Army in the front from soO already dealing a little bit of damage. The lurker's going to burrow up. Few roaches of soO popping up, and you'll be able to pick off that roach of soO over there. soO back up in towards the center and could potentially get some corrosive dials. There's a couple of roaches behind the natural, just harassing quite nicely as well, so doing a pretty good job of this. I love that soO's just got those few units over there. Just makes soO's life so much more difficult. He's just getting chipped away at slowly but surely. Madness Network from soO as well, real cool way to switch things up. This is a nice dive from soO, but it's going to cost him a lot of roaches because these roaches just don't get out of here, right? Where does he go? He's going to try and come up the top side, maybe target down like a Hydra or so as he goes, a couple of drones. Wow, he actually gets out with more roaches than I thought. He actually even tends to kill the Queen. soO burrows it a bit too late. At the same time, Roach has hit the 5th base. Oh my god. If soO gets rid of the bases again here, soO is not going to be able to keep rebuilding for these fights, and that's absolutely the way that soO is playing. Those lurkers just found in the middle of the map as well. Can he actually kill those? Probably not. They just turned around in time. soO turns around to fight with the high ground there for a moment again. Just doing what he can. No 5th base from soO either just yet. Just still happy on the 4 despite being a bit over... Well, actually, he's oversaturated, but he could send those drones up to this top base. Get some better mining going. It's been a hectic game. Obviously, soO's been a bit too preoccupied to take proper care of his economy here. He is still around as well from earlier. soO now going into Hydras of his own, but is he also going to go into Lurkers? One of the big things that soO's done now is he's invested into Hive Tech, and with the Hive Tech in play, the Vipers are obviously huge. Means he can abduct a bunch of Ravagers in and get a lot more value out of this army. Not just that though, but I think just obviously the Lurker Burrow upgrade, the Adaptive Talents, that's going to make them a lot better. That +3 missile upgrade is also going to be really influential in these fights. And so I just don't see a way that soO is going to be able to fight his way out of this in the near future. I don't think that's going to work out at all. All these Roaches are soO pushing up to the top side. Roaches and Ravagers, Roaches and Hydras being turned away. +3 missile upgrade coming in on the Evo chamber, and again just that single Mutalisk coming around the top side, chasing down those Roaches. Obviously, has pulled back around up to the top as well. Infestation bit starts up from soO. I think soO's starting to realize the later stage necessity for his in his army here. Yeah, he's got Lurkers of his own, but his Lurkers just aren't that good in comparison to the Adaptive Talent Lurkers of, soO. And, I mean, his Lurkers just don't do very well when they get abducted out of the ground and killed by those Vipers either, right? So, in general here, soO has put himself into a very strong position. And it's just because soO has been trying to kill soO for so long without being successful. Lurkers is burrowing up and going to be able to turn that Roach Ravager army away. Nice little counterattack here by soO though. soO has some units over here, but he's going to end up having to fight into the Lurkers. He definitely didn't have the numbers to straight up fight this right away. Now Lurkers burrow up. That's the power of these Vipers though. Even when Lurkers are in a good position for soO, the Vipers can just straight up nullify that. Flying Clouds, Abducts. So those Lurkers get dealt with extremely easily. Now if soO had to deal with that, he loses a lot of units because he has to fight into those Lurkers no matter what. That really is the difference between the two of them at the moment. Yeah, soO kind of comes with this little bit of an army up here and a little bit of a fight. Don't think it's necessarily going soO's way. soO does have just more money in the bank, but that's obviously because he's been spending so much less as well. His Lurker's now in a little bit of trouble here. In fact, one of soO's Lurkers are so far forwards. soO's army is just melted here in the last couple of moments. And soO is going to pick up a game 5. He's going to keep this series alive for a little bit longer. Again, a lot on the line here. Definitely worth fighting to every last game if you can keep yourself in it. So, as these Lurkers will reposition, this is actually just way too much from soO now. Again, the power of the army that he built up here was just so much better than soO's, so much faster. soO's going to build some Desperation Mutalisks. And as they fly on in, I mean, a Parasitic Bomb initially does okay. Even these Hydras, man, with +3 missile upgrades and a Carapace, +2 Carapace as well. Like, Mutas actually just take so long to kill those Hydras. At the end of the day, soO's going to lose way too much before you can clean this up with Mutas. And that's going to be GG's. And that's, soO into those Lurkers, etc. has definitely got potential. Let's see if he can make it work out. To the top left-hand side, though, I have Zerg still on match point, looking to make the finals of the Masters Coliseum number 5. This is soO. soO, by the way, who came through and won the Masters Coliseum number 4 against Parting in the Grand Finals. That was an epic series, by the way. All 7 games. So actually had a win over soO in that tournament as well in the quarterfinals, 3-1. Took down SOS 3-0 in the semis. So yeah, soO, a very familiar player with the Masters Coliseum. Actually hit 2nd place in the Masters Coliseum number 3, which was actually a huge event. Actually had a $12,000 first place prize, $6,000 for second place. So he was, again, took ZvZ to 7 games in that grand finals, but that's pretty crazy, man. This Master Coliseum has been going on a long time. Tournament number, Master Coliseum number 2, so you finished in top 4, sorry. And the first Master Coliseum, you guessed it, so second place to Gumiho. 4-0'd in the grand finals. Actually only lost to Gumiho in the winner bracket as well. It was a double elimination bracket back then. So soO has actually always finished top 4 or higher in these events. That's actually really sick. So he's got 2 second places, a win, and a top 4 in Master Coliseums. That's like insane levels of consistency in this tournament. And this is a big tournament as well. This is from, like, you know, they run like 2 of these a year, so 2 of those were 2017, 2 of those were 2018. It's actually pretty crazy. Really insane performance from soO in these events. Damn. Alright, so as link speed starts on each side of the map, you're going to be seeing these couple of lings coming around. Both players open hatch, gas, and pool. So we're going into 4 lings at the moment. Hadn't made any just yet, so a little bit greedy out of soO, making his lings a bit later. Means he won't go across the map with his zerglings, and so he won't apply any pressure. He's just going to use these defensively, at least initially, obviously. If he does go across the map, it'll be that much later than soO's move across. So soO going to be nibbling on hatchery a little bit here, a bit back and forth as soO just pull over to the left-hand side. Baneling Nest dropping down. Again, more zerglings on the way out. Just that initial kind of Ling Bane setup from both players as we go into 3 bases each. A couple of different ramps here on King's Cove, so definitely this Ling Bay very utilizable. Definitely a map where you can make use of it, get some attacks going. Probably will need it defensively at some stage as well. Few zerglings down the bottom. Nibbling away at this hatchery as well, so getting a bit more damage done. soO turning into some aggression here. There's that Evo chamber from soO. About to finish up the natural, so again, +1 missiles to start on either side, and we're going to start heading into that roach play from both of them right from the get-go. No surprises there. soO is a few drones down. Down by actually about 7 workers, 8 workers. What's kind of costly, so as he has on 2 extra extractors, that's something that soO hasn't done yet actually. So soO's going up to 4 gases, sorry, 3 gases. soO is still on the 1. Means that soO's going to have a lot more gas income just a little bit faster now as soO adds on 2 extra gases. So yeah, soO has a bit more gas mining, but again, it's only going to be about 100 or so is about the difference there. So it's like 1 extra Ravager. In the end, it's not too crazy. It's not like a whole extra gas for an extended period, which obviously then does change how the economies look. That one super low health Baneling, by the way. So you're trying to make something happen here with a little bit of Ling Bane. Baneling's going off, blowing up some zerglings. Nothing all too crazy as soO does start to build roaches, though. Yeah, he's only building roaches and lings and banes. He's not making any more drones, so soO's lower worker count here now going to be aggressive, but look at Solar. He builds 2 spine crawlers on the 3rd base. What did he see to suggest this? Did he just see these first roaches coming across the map? I think it might be that. Obviously, soO never saw that +1 missile upgrade, which is also a pretty typical sign that this was going to be aggression from him. Now, Solar went all the way up to 55 drones. soO on a 20 army supply lead. Can he make this work? The first few lings coming in, getting a decent surround. Roaches actually mostly able to pull themselves away from that here. Send the roaches forwards. Wants to try and use those to get rid of a couple of banelings. soO actually, his army supply not as high up as it once was, and he is getting himself +1 missiles as well, so he's already looking for a bit of a transition. soO actually cancelled a spine crawler. Wow, so soO actually cancelled one of the spines here, obviously feeling that he can hold on with just the one, get that extra drone back. That's some real confidence there from soO. Man, soO cannot play out of this game though, surely. I mean, he has 15 workers down. soO's just absolutely manipulated this into his advantage. That's crazy. Another Ravager coming up. I mean, soO now has droned up heavily, but soO is just ahead in that work count for so long, and he's so much faster on the +2. soO has no roach speed because his lair's only halfway done. That's crazy. Another Ravager about to complete. But soO is in a very good position here, and yeah, soO just his attempt to make this a crazy game number 6 with that aggression. It just hasn't worked out at all. Which is coming up through the center of the map. There's the +2 missiles coming down here from soO. So again, that's Sarge, the +1. Going to be finishing from soO as well. soO heading up to the top side of the map. Still seeing this army from soO just gathering together. These few roaches are still gonna ping in over on the left hand side. soO is kind of holding this together quite nicely. soO is stacking money though to build mutalisks, and that's why his army supply is kind of dropping down a little bit. He's gonna have mutas on the map in a moment, and soO hasn't really made any precautions against those mutalisks, so this definitely has potential now for soO, and especially as he's baited soO to kind of come out onto the map, could be painful as well. First battle drops down on an overlord. A few more mutalisks on the way in. soO's going to be maxed out, but only +1 missiles as well, by the way. So even then, his Roach Ravager is not as good as it should be. And that's all because, again, of just how this game opened. As the mutas fly in, soO is in a lot of trouble because he's not going to be able to break through this Roach Force. He's going to lose pretty much everything to these mutalisks as well. And then the mutas fly across the map for a counter-attack as well. And soO really is in a lot of trouble right now. And as this army dies, he might even just give it up early because he should be able to see just how badly he is losing this fight. It's very badly. Again, look at all of those roaches going down. 127 army supply left to 177. Obviously, again, those mutas are then going to be almost guaranteed to get something done across the map also. Already just chasing down a couple of these overlords, taking down some of the map control. So they're just putting these mutas to work, and again, just going to go after overlord at the moment. The overlord going to get taken down as well. I mean, again, we're just really in a position here where soO is maxed out in a great position. I mean, again, soO tried to all in early, didn't go for an upgrade, didn't get a lair. soO held that off without taking any damage at all. He put himself into a great position, and that's what we're just seeing play out right now. That great position coming to fruition. Roaches and Ravagers pressing forwards. Mutalisks in the sky, doing what they do best, just adding in damage all over the place. And again, you can just see the roach lines of soO disintegrating. soO gets his way through there. Acidic saliva of the roaches. I forgot the attack name of the roaches there. I'm not gonna lie, I had to mouse over to check it. GG's. soO ties us up 7. Kara's Junction, the only map we haven't seen. to the bottom right-hand side. Our blue Zerg is soO. Up against the red Zerg in the top left, soO. One final map here to try and make this happen, and as you can see, soO has opened with a 12 pool, so enjoying this about a bit of in. Sorry, we do have to run the ads, otherwise I don't make enough money to stream. But these Chinese casters always start their games pretty quickly, so I do apologize. But it is a 12 pool. You guys didn't miss much, literally just it being put down and getting started. So do you have the Lings here from soO heading up to the upper left side, going to be going into the natural there, and it's going to be nibbling away at the hatchery. So hatchery taking some damage. Drones from soO. Going to pull down towards the low ground to try and defend this. So a little bit back and forth. Nice kill from soO. soO opened with a 12 pool much earlier in the series as well. He actually had some pretty... I actually feel like he actually went pretty okay for solo defensively in that game. That was way back actually in like the first game even. Nice catches here from soO as well. He gets a good few Ling kills, although he loses a few Lings himself. He will have a couple more coming up. At this point, soO should try and get a couple more drones. That'd be really nice if he could just capitalize on some extra workers, but he gets caught in. Good control out of soO, all said and done. 2 drones and 8 Lings for 12 Lings. It was actually 1 drone and 8 Lings, I believe, in the last time soO went for that attack, so a slight improvement. Nothing too out of the ordinary in terms of damage done. Feeling is moving down towards the bottom right hand side, and it's going to be seeing these couple of queens setting up as well. And this queen just pushing the overlord around a little bit. Cycling speed. About halfway done. Lots of drones from soO, but it's soO that's going to get aggressive this game. He's making a lot of Lings. He's not droning up past 21. He's going to go for this Ling flood, and soO, this creep tumor even is actually out of position to... This actually blocks his wall off here that you usually like to make. So that's going to make life difficult. He does have a couple Lings moving forward, but look at these queens looking to zone away the information. They've also been pushing overlords back as well. soO doesn't see this for as long as possible. And as Ling speed kicks in, soO is going to run out of information. Oh, I love this overlord to the top, by the way. Oh my god, I love the movement from soO, though. He's completely avoided soO's overlords, but soO seems to have a feeling anyways. It's a full wall off out of soO. That said, his Rotron here on the left-hand side is in some trouble. He gets another Evo placed. Now the queens will fill the wall. Unfortunately, it's the high-energy queen that fills the wall here. I mean, his Lings are going to break from the top side, and it feels like soO isn't respecting that top side at all. Starting to make some Lings of his own. Of course, he will pull in drones to try and help against it. The queens going to keep each other transfused up. There's one final transfuse to be placed for the moment. 6 drones down, but now the Zerglings start coming out from soO, and this is where perhaps he can start making a bit of a defense happen with 3 queens still alive. soO has got these drones just... I mean, this becomes difficult as well as the drones sneak their way, or the Lings sneak their way up into the main base. Now you've got to defend on 2 fronts. Another transfuse keeps the queen alive at the front. I feel like soO's done a good enough job so far. Evo Chamber blocked at the front there. That's a really nice denial. Obviously, blocking the Evo Chamber means that you don't get the wall off going, and so the Lings can keep slipping in here from soO. soO will have to pull drones yet again. soO is not far away from having a Rotron. He's overmined a lot of gas, so if he can get the Rotron up and he can make roaches, brilliant. He's going to be in a very good spot here right away. And these queens now walling off. soO realizes he's not getting much more done, and he's pushed away. We never looked at these Lings at the main. Overall, 14 workers killed, but soO is still up by 9 drones. Oh my god, that was so tense for a moment. Looked like the queens had given up the wall as he lets the Zerglings out. He just wants the Lings there to help with this fight. And also just going to be seeing the +1 missiles on the way to the lair as well. soO is very confident to start building up here. Look at soO though, completely all in. Baneland S coming down as well. Now he is looking to break this in the next few moments. Peels a few of his Zerglings away to the side. soO just needs to build roaches. He absolutely can hold this off. He just needs the roach numbers, and he is starting to add a few more now. Roach now part of this wall off alongside the queens. And, I mean, as these overlords finish, we need to see roaches from soO. Absolutely. He doesn't necessarily know about those Banelings off to the side. He doesn't have much scout, and he's going to see these extra lings through the center now, and he hasn't spent his lava, so now he knows roaches are the call. With the Banelings in play, yeah, instantly just throws up the Evo Chamber as well, so that's going to be time spent taking down the Evo Chamber. The Lings are going to have to deal with that. As he cancels the lair as well, soO just making sure he can get as many roaches as possible. He knows his opponent's all in, so he knows he doesn't need the lair. He needs to get rid of these Banelings so his own Zerglings can come and join the fight as well, though. And I mean, that's the problem at the moment. These Banelings are going to make their way through. There's a couple of Banelings left at the moment, and they're still looking for some extra damage here. soO, is he able to hold on? 6 more roaches about to arrive. His worker count drops down, but obviously with +1 still in play, he's going to have... +1's really nice, and there's a reason he cancels the lair, not the +1, because when +1 comes in, you 2-shot Zerglings, and that instantly makes Solar's attacks here so much worse off. And I think as soO builds that Evo Chamber in the front again, just anything you can do to slow down the attacks of Solar. Now there's just got to be too many roaches, right? I mean, again, with +1 in a moment, these Lings are going to melt in comparison to how fast, how slowly they're going down now. I mean, soO is even purely droning, and I wouldn't even say I'm worried for him. That +1 finishes. The Banelings don't have anywhere to really go. There's so much health on this Evo Chamber as well. He'll bust through it, but again, as the Zerglings get here, the roaches are going to get rid of them so quickly. A few roaches on the top side surrounded, but that won't be enough, and soO will go to yet another Masters Coliseum Grand Finals. Now it will be played on Monday, and it will be a ZvZ, either against Innovation or Cure.